Today we're focusing on releasing some tight areas in the low back, and we'll be doing that in a few different ways with overall spinal decompression, lengthening through our entire spine and back. We're also going to show our psoas some care. The psoas is a very large muscle in the lower body that wraps all around your hips and into the low back. And if our psoas is tight or weak, then it can cause some low back issues or just a feeling of low back stiffness. And honestly, a lot of us have a tight psoas because of how much sitting we do in our day-to-day life. And then finally, we'll also be doing a little specific targeted stretching along some tight areas in the low back, one in particular, a muscle called the QL. So we'll explore a few different things today. I'm excited you're here. Thank you for joining me. And what you'll need props-wise today is a yoga block. I have my cork block, but I would prefer actually if you have a foam block, that would be a little more comfortable because we're putting it under our sacrum, which is like our low back. And that might just be a little more comfortable, but I have my cork today I'll be using. You can always put a blanket over your block. If you do have SI joint issues, or if your low back is feeling a little irritated today, then instead of the block, you might want to consider putting a firm pillow under your low back instead of the block, or a bolster if you have a yoga bolster. Okay, so I'm just going to offer that up as an option for comfort. You'll also need a chair today. And I think that's about it. So we'll get started lying down on our back. Now keep your block or your bolster nearby. Keep it handy within reach. And come to lie down on your back. And check in that you're comfortable. So you might want some extra padding under your low back or your hips. And then we'll start with our knees bent and our feet planted, and hands can rest on your low belly. Notice if you can feel these two bony points at the front of your pelvis, and you can even rest your fingers there. Starting with some pelvic tilts. As you breathe in, rock forward on the pelvis. So we're creating space under our low back here, but the hips are still grounded. And then as you rock back, exhale, and it's almost like we're gently pressing the low back down into the floor. So between those 2 points, inhale, rock forward, and exhale, rock back. This does not have to be a big movement. I'm moving in a bit of a bigger way, exaggerating my movement a bit so you can see, but this can be very subtle. So we're rocking forward on the inhale and back on the exhale. If your hands or fingers are on those two bony points, your ASIS, you can feel those moving away from you on the inhale and then dropping down and a little bit towards you on the exhale. Please don't rush this. Take your time. A lot of low back stiffness can stem from lack of pelvic mobility. So just this simple movement can be so beneficial. And the next time you exhale, find a nice neutral spine. And then we'll reach our arms up past our ears here. Big stretch. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, arms come down by your sides as your right knee lifts. So you pick up the right foot. You're in about a 90-degree angle with the leg. And then put that foot down and reach back up on your inhale. Alternate legs. Exhale. Left foot picks up. Inhale, put that foot down. Now, as you continue this, marching, every time you exhale, can you zip the low belly gently down towards the spine? And then when you inhale, we don't want to let the spine pop up off the floor too much. So keep that stability. Keep a little bit of that stability in your core as you move. Now, next time our right knee comes up, let's hug it in towards our chest all the way. So squeeze it in and then stretch your left leg out long. Make the left leg, the long leg, active by pressing through the sole of your left foot, and then bring a little tuck of your tailbone here. So try to touch the low back down towards the floor. And it's a very light tuck, it's not forceful. And even here, you might notice a nice opening in the front of your left hip flexor. And this is just getting into the psoas a little bit. It's also a massage for your low back. So breathe here. And this is setting up what we're about to do with the block, okay? Let's stretch that right leg out, reach both arms up, feel the length in your body. And then take your right knee in, hug it in, make the right leg active. Press the sole of the foot away as you hug this knee in and a little tuck of the tailbone. Something you'll notice more when we have the block, but you might even notice it here. Your knee might want to pop up off the floor. Can you keep it locked out and straight down towards the floor? Fun fact, if your knee does pop up, you might have a little tightness going on in your psoas, which could be potentially causing issues in your low back or tightness. Breathe here. And then both arms up, stretch your legs out, full breath in. And then bring both knees in as you exhale and rock side to side. Plant your feet down on the floor with the knees bent, and then take your prop, your block, your pillow, whatever you're using. We're going to press our feet down into the ground, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, and then take the prop underneath your hips. Now you want it right on your sacrum, so not up into your low back. It's right at the top of your bottom, okay? And then adjust as needed until you're somewhat comfortable here. All right. From here, we're going to take our right knee up into the chest, hug it in, tuck the tailbone, and then let the left leg lengthen out. Make the left leg active. Draw the knee in and breathe. You might notice a little more opening through the front of your left hip flexor. Again, if your low back is irritated, this is the last time I'm going to say it, but please don't force a hard prop under your low back. Use a pillow or a bolster. Now, if you've been doing this video for a while and you want a little more intensity, what you can do is stack it up higher. So you can either put the block on the medium level, so flip it, or you could even stack 2 blocks. Sometimes I do that to get some nice space. So just something to keep in mind, but you want to keep that tailbone lengthened down. Okay, and just a little movement through the right hip now. It does not have to be big. Okay, and then we'll hug the right knee in and then plant the foot down with the knee bent for our transition. Hug the left knee into the chest and then stretch the right leg out long once you get that left knee. Now take a moment to press through the right foot, straighten that right leg. And you might notice in me, my right knee wants to bend more here than my left. So I know that I'm a little tighter on the right side. So check in, maybe you notice a difference side to side in your body. Okay, active leg, straight knee, a light tuck of the tailbone as you breathe. And then maybe we just guide that knee around just for a little movement through the left hip. Okay, and then hug in. Take one more breath in here. Breath out to plant your foot down. Now bend the right knee as well, so both feet are grounded. You might want to walk your feet in a little closer to you because we're going to go into bridge pose. So before you lift your hips, squeeze the glutes that support your spine, and then lift your hips up off your prop. Slide it out from under you. Let's stay up in bridge. So take your time setting this up. Feet are parallel with toes forward, grounded through the heels, through the whole foot, but especially the heels, and then lifting as you breathe. Take one more full breath in here, and then on your exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Once your hips are grounded, toe heel your feet out wider. Stretch your arms out into either cactus or T's. Feel that opening through your upper body and chest, and then let your knees windshield wiper side to side, dropping all the way down as you check in with your breath, smooth and soft. Next time your knees fall over to the left, let's pause there. Send your gaze to the right, and then pick up your left foot and place it on the side of the right thigh. Now you use the weight of that left foot to gently draw the knee down towards the floor and also a little bit away from you, so we have some subtle space down the right side. Take a moment to breathe here. And then take your time to unwind, both feet back down with lots of space between them. Windshield wiper, side to side to reset. And the next time your knees fall to the right, we'll stay there and gaze to the left. Pick up your right foot, place it on the side of the left thigh. Let the weight of that foot draw the knee gently down to the floor and away from you. Feel that space and breathe. Slowly unwind, knees back up, and just bring them into your chest. Give yourself a hug here. Now, a very simple yoga pose, a yoga flow called Apanasana for a different kind of low back massage. So knees stay into your chest, the palms plant on the front of your thighs. Inhale, start to straighten your arms as you press your knees away from you. This doesn't have to be a huge movement. It doesn't have to turn into core work, okay? Keep the knees somewhat close in. And then exhale, actively draw them in towards your belly and feel the belly sink down to the spine. Inhale to press the knees away, and exhale to hug in. Let's do 3 more of those. And then next time you hug in, squeeze in tight, and then let go, and let's start to transition up. We're gonna come up to stand and get your chair. Okay, we'll start standing behind the chair, and then take your hands on the top of the chair and step back. Bend your knees to start, because we're going to prioritize today, especially the length of our spine, okay? Decompressing the spine. So bend your knees so that we can get that pelvis tilted somewhat forward and not tucked under us. And then pull back from the top of the chair. Ears in between your shoulders, looking down to the floor. Feel as much space as you can between holding onto that chair and pressing your hips back. And then we'll breathe here with that soft bend in the knees. Now, if you would like to play with straightening your legs a little more, if you can do it without letting the tight hamstrings pull on the pelvis to round, do you see that? That's what we don't want. We want that length. So if you need to keep that bend in your knees, do it. Okay, now all we're gonna do here is stay right where we are, and then toe heel your feet out a little wider than hip distance, and pull back. So same thing, but with wider feet. Good, and then let's see if we can go a little wider. So go to your full width, whatever that is for you. So you want to feel a light stretch on the inner thighs, still the hamstrings, and still getting that decompression in the spine. Now sometimes, we just talked about this, sometimes tight hamstrings can pull on the pelvis and cause a feeling of low back discomfort or stiffness. So we're going to start to open those up a little bit, while lengthening our spine and breathing smoothly in and out the nose. On your next exhale, if your block is nearby, you can use it right under your shoulders, or you can just take your fingertips down straight to the mat. But what I want is this nice long flat back, not roundness like this, okay? We want that space. So bring yourself up away from the floor as high as it requires to get that space in the spine. You might want to bring a little more bend to the knees too, that might help. Okay. With a twist here, left hand stays down, right hand comes to your hip, and then start to gently twist your spine to the right, and we're hugging the right shoulder blade into the back. This does not have to be a deep twist. Keep it very light. Take a full breath in, and then breath out, put the hand back down, back to center. Take your time setting up the other side, left hand to your hip, and then a gentle twist to the left, hugging the left shoulder blade into your back. Take a moment to breathe here, and then on your exhale, we'll put the hand back down. So let's do a couple more of those on each side with the breath now. Twist to the right as you inhale, exhale, back down. Twist to the left as you breathe in, breathe out, back down. One more on each side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And now you have an option to either stay here. You could practice coming down a little lower, always checking in to make sure it feels good on our back. Okay? Maybe it feels good here to release all the way down for a moment and just soften through the neck and shoulders, lift up through the hips, up towards the sky. If your low back doesn't like this, either come back up to that long flat spine or bend your knees a little more so we have more freedom of movement through the pelvis and the low back. Okay, and then we'll just toe heel our feet in to a squat and come down to the floor. You can set aside the chair. Coming to a seat, with our left leg extended out to a diagonal, okay? Now I want you to be honest with yourself. If you're able to sit up like this, nice and tall on your sit bones without any kind of props, then you're good. But if you feel like your pelvis is tucked under you like this, what we're about to do is not going to have the intention we want it to have. You're just going to be stretching from the flexed spine into the mid-upper back instead of where we want it, around the pelvis and into this area. So I do invite you, if you think that might be you, to just lift your hips up on the edge of a blanket and let your pelvis hang off the edge of the blanket, so it just helps create a little more space through the back. You can stack up the prop as high as you like, okay? Just to show you that, that's just my disclaimer. You can explore that because we want your low back to feel better, not worse. Okay, so this is Janu Shirsasana, a little stretch here. We're going to start directly forward. Take your hands to your heart, take a full breath in, and then hinge forward as you exhale. Take your time, keep the spine long. Good, and then we'll keep that long spine and just walk on over to the outstretched leg. Now, we're not in a side bend here yet. We're just straight over the leg with that long spine. And then if you feel good here, maybe you come down a little lower and then let your shoulders soften and your head release. Notice where you do feel this sensation. Maybe in multiple places. Okay, and then we're moving into a side bend here. So your left hand, you can take your peace fingers and take hold of the toe or the ankle. And then we're gonna come out of this just a little bit and find that long spine again. So not our flexed spine, our long spine. Turn the right shoulder back. So now we're going into a side bend. Stretch this right arm up and out past your ear, and then use the grip on your toe or your ankle to gently draw yourself down. We're not collapsed forward like this. We're opening out like this. Check in with your breath and feel that space down the right side of your body. And then slowly release. Come on back up to a seat. Before we do the other side, I want you to bring a little bit of those pelvic tilts into this movement, into this position rather, okay? And if the pelvic tilts confuse you, think about a seated cat-cow. That can help. The pelvic tilts are basically a seated cat-cow or a cat-cow, but just focusing on the lower body, okay? So just tilting forward and back, loosening up any stiffness around this area before we go on to the other side. Okay, and then take your right leg out, left sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Make sure we're up on top of our sit bones. Take your hands to your heart. Breathe in, find space and length. Breathe out, hinge directly forward. Keep that spine long. Maybe put your fingertips down. Check in with your back and make sure it feels good here. And then we're going to walk our hands over and our whole body over to the outstretched leg. The more you go more towards that leg, the more you'll get this QL stretch that we're going for here. One of the many things that this pose does for us. And then you can let yourself melt into this a little more. We're starting with a hinge from the hips, but then when you do reach your end range of motion, then yes, just soften into this, soften your shoulders, release your head, and breathe. Maybe you play a little bit with where your positioning is, where your pelvis is, where you're facing over that leg, because the difference of an inch of positioning can make a huge difference in where you're feeling the posture, where you're feeling the stretch. Listen to your body and explore a little bit. And then we'll transition into our side bend, taking hold of the ankle or the big toe with your right hand. Left shoulder opens back. Stretch that left arm out past your ear. Check in that your neck is comfortable. And then gently draw yourself down a little closer to the leg as you breathe. And then on your next exhale, let go, release, and sit up. And again, bring in a few of those pelvic tilts, the seated cat-cow, to unlock anything still going on around the pelvis, low back area. And then bring both legs out in front of you with the knees bent. Walk your feet in a little closer to you and give yourself a hug around the shins. Drop your head down. Can you send your breath to the back half of your lungs, feeling your ribs expand out? And then slowly unfurl. Come to any comfortable seat. Take your hands together, touching in front of your heart. Soften your eyes or close your eyes. And check in and notice the effects of your practice today. Feel into every part of your body. Feel every little sensation. And then we'll take a full breath in through the nose. And a sigh of release out of your mouth. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Hi there, I'm Mikah, yoga therapist and founder of Lifelong Yoga Online. And if you enjoyed this class, I hope you did. It's actually part of a full 7-day series called Unlock. And the series is inside my monthly membership, Lifelong Yoga Online. Each class in the series focuses on unlocking a different area in the body and relieving overall feelings of stiffness. So if you're interested in joining us for that 7-day series, the Unlock series, I would love to have you as a Lifelong Yoga member. We call you our lifers. So I'll put the link down in the description with more information if you'd like to join us. Either way, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time.